The Metaverse is emerging as the next big technology platform and promises to be the next frontier for human experiences on the internet. Into the Metaverse covers companies, technologies, and trends that are bringing these promises to life. Join creator and host Jonathan Ross Friedman, founder and CEO of Super Social, as he interviews the brilliant minds that are building, shaping, and investing in the Metaverse.
Welcome to Into the Metaverse. Happy Monday. Lisa, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Jan. How are ya?
I'm great. As always, excited for the week. Some really cool things are happening on the Super Social side, and we have a couple of really interesting items to talk about from last week that I wrote about. So happy to, excited to dig in.
Yeah, sounds good. So let's start with the biggie. Lego Fortnite has now been released since we last spoke. And I was just mentioning to my son this evening that I was going to be talking to you about it. He said, all my friends are obsessed.
With Lego Fortnite?
Yeah, with Lego Fortnite, they're obsessed. He said one played for 8 hours straight instead of studying for his final exam. So what do you think? What do you think of it?
I think what Lego and Fortnite and Epic did, which is really interesting, they took one of the most popular teenager and young adults games in the world, which is Fortnite, and they infused into it the never-ending passion that people have for Lego. And they created this really, really unique product experience. I just tasted it a bit. I haven't played for 8 hours. But they've created something so interesting. And I'm not surprised by your son's reaction. I'm sure many in his generation reacted the same, because I think they really brought it in an authentic way to the Lego brand, but in a way that will feel familiar to the Fortnite audience, which I think is why you're seeing that reaction. And interestingly enough, and I don't know what the age breakdown is going to be, but one of Lego's aspirations with this project was to really build, quote unquote, a kids focused, safe metaverse environment, or 3D world. And it's going to be interesting to see who are the audiences that are actually spending time and playing the game. And so, that's one major thing about Lego Fortnite. The other thing that I think that is really important is the fact that Lego have been trying to build a sort of prime 3D IP for a long time. Of course, they have video games. They even launched, a video game with a AAA game with Take-Two Entertainment. So they're investing heavily in interactive experiences. But what they've really missed on is people still remember Minecraft launching in 2011, 2012, and everyone was saying, oh, this should have been Lego because it's like essentially a digital sandbox, and Lego is a sandbox toy. You can do anything with Lego, right? Sure, you have the prescribed Lego sets, build a Star Wars set or build a whatever IP set. And Minecraft was this sort of phenomenal, pure, organic creativity sandbox. And I remember everyone, how did Lego not build that? And so I think until today, Lego has been trying to do something similar, but never succeeded. And I think building on top of Fortnite, and TBD, they're actually planning to make Lego Fortnite almost like a sandbox creation experience. It feels more like a game with elements of creativity and creation, and TBD how they're going to expand it. But it's really phenomenal to see how after over a decade since Minecraft launched, Lego comes out, and so from Lego side, it's really incredible to see that project, and seems like very early signs of success. From the Fortnite and Epic Games side, what's really interesting is that everyone is talking about UEFN and the fact that Fortnite created is aspiring to be a UGC platform like Roblox is. And they are definitely making great progress, but they are also far, far away from where Roblox is as a very, very comprehensive scale platform. But what Epic does that Roblox doesn't do, Epic now essentially built the first second-party game on top of Fortnite, which is what they've done with Lego Fortnite, right? They took a premium IP, a prime IP, and they worked with Lego, and they got paid likely by Lego to build that Lego Fortnite, right? And that is the more interesting thing for me to think through, how Lego is building on top of Fortnite. And is Epic going to want to do more of these second party game worlds on top of Fortnite? Almost like turning Fortnite into a platform, but not necessarily a UGC platform. And so the interesting thing for me to think through, and for others as well, is where is Epic going to put their investment on and strategy? Are they going to really focus on building more second party prime IP, which they are really, really good at? I mean, look at the success of Lego Fortnite. Epic is a games company. They know how to do it. They've done it with Fortnite. They're not doing it with Lego Fortnite. Or are they going to invest heavily in building a UGC platform that enables many more creators and not just prime IP to build on top of the platform? So I think that's the key question that I think is going to be interesting to see in 2024.
So, Jan, you have argued that 2D is dead. You are quoted in the Metaverse.com post this week. And let's talk about Roblox and 2024 predictions for this jump even further, for more of the population getting on board with 3D and leaving 2D behind.
Look, I mean, I think a lot of people started this year thinking the metaverse is dead. And I think people have lost the needle on what really is important about the metaverse conversation. And I think what I'm essentially aspiring to do with this rallying cry that, 2D is dead, long live the 3D internet, is that the metaverse is very much alive and kicking. But I think what's important is to really more clearly define what the metaverse is when people think about it. And I felt that when we think about this next generation of the internet, virtual worlds, 3D experiences, and everything I've been speaking to with regards to avatar communication, avatar experiences, how AI fits in as well, the big transition that we keep talking about is an internet enabled by real-time 3D. And so it felt to me that by talking more about 3D and by encouraging people, developers, creators, marketers, CMOs, to really start focusing about the transition of the internet from 2D to 3D, that in my mind is really the main thing that people need to keep in mind. That transition to 3D, the evolution into a 3D internet, which is really, I believe, presents incredible opportunity to improve and reimagine the way people connect, communicate, express themselves, and even shop online. It's a long-term journey, very much like e-commerce 20 years ago and cloud computing 20-something years ago, right? Everyone dismissed that idea, but I feel that the evolution into 3D, I'm pretty deterministic about it. I think it's happening. It's going to take time because we don't have the internet infrastructure and protocols to enable interoperability between 3D environments. But I have no doubt that it's happening, and I think it's going to completely reimagine the way people interact, consume, and engage with the internet. And that's why I'm kind of starting to use that rallying cry that what we really need to think about is less about the metaverse, but more about a 3D internet.
And specifically, you were saying marketing to that end, right? If you're saying it's not a toy, this is where people are going to be, not just kids playing with it.
I mean, people thought at the beginning of the internet that it's a toy and it's only for a certain type of people and maybe video games. But ultimately it touched everything, and it evolved from there to mobile internet and cloud computing and now AI. And I think all of those things are starting to come together. Cloud, AI, mobile, new devices are all going to amplify completely new technical capabilities that will allow the internet to evolve into a 3D format that is way more immersive. And it doesn't mean we're always going to be running around as avatars. Obviously, it needs to still be connected to real world, just like real world is connected to the internet today. But I think the internet, in my mind, is definitely evolving. And marketers, because they are at the forefront of consumer behaviors, it's so much more immediate and it's so much more tangible to interact with the 3D internet when you're interacting with, let's say, an experience built by Gucci or Walmart or a cosmetics brand versus, thinking about very challenging enterprise applications or industrial application, which also will arrive. And so brands play an instrumental role, I believe, in popularizing this notion of a 3D internet. And this is partially why they are at the forefront and at the bleeding edge of the technology. Look, it's not a transition that is happening tomorrow. It's a transition that started a while back. But I think we're at the very early stages of the acceleration of this evolution from 2D to 3D. And I feel that is a more tangible way for folks to understand what is happening when people talk about the metaverse versus continuing to use a term like the metaverse and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, maybe the metaverse is dead for people, but long live the 3D internet.
That makes a lot of sense. And someone who is certainly agrees with your thesis is Cher, the 77-year-old entertainer who has a Roblox experience coming up for 4 weeks. If she can embrace it, I feel like it certainly is for everyone. And Adidas and all these brands, as you've mentioned, investing. So
just last week, I think we've seen announcements that Cher is coming to Roblox, that Nicki Minaj launched an experience. Olivia Rodrigo launched a shop experience on Roblox. We have a Super Social, 2 major announcements this week that we will reveal later this week, and I'm sure we'll talk about more next week. And so there's a lot that is coming, and it's really wonderful to see brands, IP, artists, celebrities, individuals in general really starting to embrace these 3D environments and reimagine how they present themselves, interact. And I think it's kind of fantastic that a 77-year-old Cher is coming to the Roblox platform. Why not? Everyone is invited. It's a party. And I think it shows that people are open to explore and understand what those next generation modalities look like. And the more the merrier. And I believe that with everything we're seeing at the moment, I claim we are at the this is day one of the 3D internet, and it's going to continue to be day one for a while. But it's great to be on the edges of where technology is taking us as humanity.
True, and more cultural places are moving in that direction. So we were seeing how the movie studios, the TV studios are now heavily considering gaming, realizing that kids are gaming more hours per day than they are streaming or watching now. And so you're seeing some of these movie studios trying to figure out how to position themselves, how to get on it. Vogue, magazine, they're emphasizing gaming as well
100%,
right now.
100%. And I think gaming is a great subcategory of the wider 3D internet that I think people can resonate with. And I think both of these things will continue to grow simultaneously. Gaming will continue to be a major thing. Gaming doesn't have to be 3D though, right? And so, but gaming as a general category of entertainment is obviously major for brands and IP. And I think we're going to keep seeing, more and more and more of brands starting to take gaming seriously. The conversation I'm having about the 3D internet, in my mind, is 10 times bigger than just gaming. And I think that's what I want folks to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's also just touch on education as well as we talk about all the gaming and spending. Meta starting to have real partnerships with virtual reality and college universities talking about education, which I've always thought is one of the strongest cases for virtual reality. So that's pretty exciting to see sort of that shift. And Gemini, which we'll talk more about in the coming days, I'm sure, but one of their demos, they showed a tutor could help a kid, or even a parent could help a kid with complicated math problems. So I really like this emphasis on education that hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, education is one of the most traditional, slow sectors to adopt new technologies. And I think that there is definitely incredible opportunity, but it has to be hand in hand and designed from the bottom with teachers, with educators. And that has always been the challenge. Also, lack of financial capabilities for a lot of schools. I'm not worried about the 1% of schools that have the means to incorporate technologies and build those possibilities for their students. I think it's more about the 99% of the rest of the rural population, and how do we make sure that everyone has the opportunity to access the very best that the world has to offer. And AI can definitely potentially be a way to create a more equal playing field which I think would ultimately drive also opportunities for prosperity and wealth creation and work opportunities as the world is really being reimagined in front of our eyes.
That's right. If we could get those headsets into rural villages in third world countries, it'd be amazing.
All right.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Lisa. Have a great week. See you next time.
Have a great week. See ya.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Into the Metaverse. We hope you learned a lot and explored new aspects of the Metaverse.